Oh boy, has he stepped into it, and he is trying to step out of it, which I think is a huge mistake. At an annual dinner in the White House State Dining Room celebrating the holy month of Ramadan, which began last Friday, President Obama said, quote, actually, we have the audio clip of that, don't we, Jacob? We do. Okay, here it is. Let's play it.
But let me be clear. As a citizen and as president, I believe that Muslims have the right to practice their religion as everyone else in this country. And that includes the right to build a place of worship in a community center on private property in Lower Manhattan in accordance with local laws and ordinances. This is America, and our commitment to religious freedom must be unshakable. The principle that people of all faiths are welcome in this country and that they will not be treated differently by their government is essential to who we are. The writ of the founders must endure.
There you go. And the response to this around the world was quite clear. And I just find this amazing, the difference in the response from the Fox News right-wing crowd versus the rest of the planet. If those of you who listen regularly know that, is basically the newspapers that I read, the local paper here in Oregon, just keep up with what's going on here in Oregon, and the Financial Times. I can't read the Wall Street Journal anymore since it was taken over by by Darth Vader, by the Force. Rupert Murdoch, the Fox News guy. It's not what it used to be. But the Financial Times, which is, it's the rich talking to the rich. And they actually have more readers. The Financial Times actually has more circulation, larger circulation in the United States than they do in the United Kingdom, even though it's a British newspaper, in theory. So anyhow, if you, like me, are a subscriber to the Financial, and I get no money from them, this is not a promotion, but if you read the Financial Times, open the editorial page. The lead guest editorial on the very top of the right-hand spread of the editorial page, headline by Simon Schama, S-C-H-A-M-A, Simon Schama, Obama's brave remarks reveal a true patriot. So that's how the world is looking at this. Right? He starts by asking the question, has Barack Obama just committed political suicide? Points out Obama has come out in favor of there being a Muslim center. And then he goes on to say, but the critics are deluded. In other words, Obama didn't commit political suicide. He said, it is the President and Mayor Bloomberg who will emerge with honor as the true custodians of what the founders of the United States had in mind. The notion that a mosque at Ground Zero hands a victory to the murderers has it exactly the wrong way around. Now, that's the lead guest editorial in the Financial Times today. But that was written and probably published before yesterday President Obama backtracked. He walked this thing back because the Reich in this country, the crazies, Newt Gingrich, this serial adulterer who admits and brags about lying, who used to have his magic word list. Whenever you describe a Democrat, you have to use this magic word. Failure and pathetic, and he had his whole list. You remember Newt's word list from back in '94? I mean, this sick and twisted guy who is not elected to anything right now. Why is he even? Anyhow, he and of course the leader of Hamas has had to weigh in, right? They all have this interest. Osama bin Laden, if he could applaud this, he would be applauding not what Obama said, and not the mosque. In fact, putting a mosque 2 blocks away from Ground Zero is a slap in the face of Osama bin Laden, because bin Laden's goal was to create war between America and the Islamic world. And that is exactly what these fools like Newt Gingrich and Eric Erickson comparing it to America supporting human sacrifice by the Church of Satan. So on Sunday, tragically, The President of the United States, who had taken the high ground, who had essentially said, as Mayor Bloomberg said, we're Americans. We don't cower in the face of any religion, and we allow people to practice any religion they want, as long as practicing their religion is not this, part and parcel of being violent. And there are many peaceful Muslims in the world, the majority of them, just as there are peaceful Jews and peaceful Christians and peaceful atheists and Hindus and Buddhists and, fill in the blanks. And there are violent ones. But that's not what Cordoba House is all about. There are a lot of Muslims who live in that area. There were Muslims who were killed on 9/11. So this was the most American thing that could be done, was for the President of the United States to say, as he did, that we embrace every religion in the United States and we endorse none. And the government doesn't get in the business of it. Doesn't get in the business of promoting it, doesn't get in the business of stopping it, shouldn't even get in the business of commenting on it, which frankly we've been doing. In this whole thing with faith-based initiatives, which should be stopped, but in any case. This was not any more an attack by Islam than Timothy McVeigh blowing up the Oklahoma Federal Building was an attack by Christianity. It wasn't a war, it was a crime. And its funders and collaborators should have been hunted down and thrown in jail by international police forces. And they could have been. Afghanistan was willing to turn Osama bin Laden over to a third country for trial if we would simply present some evidence that he was responsible for this. Now here's where it gets sad. After Congressman Peter King and Osama bin Laden lover Newt Gingrich and Osama bin Laden lover Eric Erickson and Osama bin Laden lover Peter King, these guys who are doing the will of Osama bin Laden and the Muslim terrorists, after they came out and attacked the president backs off this thing. Clip 2.
My intention was to simply let people know what I thought, which was that in this country, we treat everybody equally in accordance with the law, regardless of race, regardless of religion. I was not commenting, and I will not comment on the wisdom of making a decision to put a mosque there. I was commenting very specifically on the right that people have that dates back to our founding. That's what our country is about. And I think it's very important that, as difficult as some of these issues are, we stay focused on who we are as a people and what our values are all about.
In other words, his political advisors said to him, look out, this is politically destructive to you, start backing away from it. Which I'm telling you, President Obama, if you're listening, or any of your folks are listening, or any of your advisors are listening, and I know a few of them do from time to time, backing away from from the right position is going to be more politically destructive to you than holding that position. The big picture here is that President Obama has an opportunity to heal this nation by sticking to his words of truth Friday night and leading this nation and the world toward peace and embrace the Cordoba House. It's an opportunity to revisit the time after 9/11 when George Bush had an opportunity to unite this country, and instead he tore us apart by declaring war. For more on this and other topics, please visit TomHartman.com.